What if I told you everything you want already exists, but you can't access it because you're locked in the wrong version of yourself? Science and the spiritual masters finally agree. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. And today, you'll discover how to change who you are. Picture this. The whole universe is like an invisible ocean, alive and humming with possibilities. Physicists call it the quantum field, the source from which everything emerges. Jesus hinted at the same truth when he said, "I and the Father are one." He wasn't speaking of a far-off deity handing out blessings. He was describing an unbreakable connection between who we are and the energy that holds everything together. Just as a wave isn't separate from the sea, we're not apart from this field, we're expressions of it. Centuries before quantum physics, Lao Tzu described the Tao as the inexhaustible void, the womb of all things, different language, same idea. An unseen intelligence threads through reality, a matrix holding every potential. That's why trying to manifest by repeating words or rituals rarely works. The field doesn't answer to what you say, it mirrors the frequency you embody. Think of tuning a radio. You can crank the volume as much as you like, but if you're on the wrong frequency, you won't hear the station. The quantum field works the same way. It listens to the tone of your inner state, not to mantras spoken with doubt in the background. How often do we visualize abundance while secretly worrying it won't come? That worry is static, and it scrambles the signal. Modern science, especially studies on quantum entanglement, suggests there's no clear line where you end and the universe begins. Everything is woven together by invisible threads of information. When you get this, you realize manifestation isn't about convincing some outside force. It's about shaping the very fabric from which your life unfolds. Reality is more like a hologram. Each part reflects the whole, and any shift inside you ripples across the field. You don't have to be a physicist or a monk to work with this. It starts with noticing what you nurture on the inside. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of God is within you," he was pointing to an inner alignment where answers stop being chased out there. Eastern wisdom says something similar. Don't push the river, learn to flow with it. Your relationship with the field is less about striving and more about the quality of your presence. Seeing the quantum field as a living reality is the doorway to conscious creation. It's not abstract theory. It's something breathing through you, responding to your emotional tone and reflecting your coherence. And once you sense that, a new question naturally arises. If the field responds to our inner signal, how does the focus of our attention, the way we observe, shape the world that takes form around us? If the quantum field is the ocean of all possibilities, your attention is the current that shapes its waves. Wherever you place your focus, you invite energy to organize itself around that point. This isn't just poetic language, it echoes one of the most famous experiments in physics, the double-slit experiment. Scientists discovered that tiny particles behave differently depending on whether they're being observed. The act of watching collapses their maybe state into a clear outcome. In other words, observation helps reality decide what to become. Buddha captured this long before laboratories could test it. With our thoughts, we make the world. Every time you dwell on an idea, whether it's hope or fear, you send a signal into the field, like dropping a pebble into water. The ripples don't judge if the pebble is pleasant or heavy. They simply spread according to the impact. That's why obsessing over what you don't want often keeps it circling back. The field doesn't hear no. It mirrors the quality of your focus. Think of scrolling through social media. The algorithm quickly learns what you linger on, then shows you more of it. Your mind works in much the same way. The more you feed it with certain images or stories, the more your nervous system tunes itself to recognize those patterns out in the world. That's not magic, it's perception and physiology teaming up with energy. What you repeatedly notice becomes easier for you to spot and easier for life to deliver. This is where attention becomes more than mental effort. It's an act of stewardship. You're curating the gallery through which reality expresses itself. The challenge is that attention is slippery. Old fears, cultural noise, and endless distractions compete for it. Left unchecked, they pull your signal in conflicting directions, creating static in the field. The result? Mixed outcomes that feel like life is ignoring you, when in truth, The broadcast just isn't clear. Cultivating focus doesn't mean forcing yourself to be serious every second. It's about gently training your awareness to rest on what you'd love to grow. Even a few mindful moments, noticing your breath, savoring gratitude, picturing a peaceful scene, recalibrate your inner atmosphere. Over time, this steadiness becomes your default vibration, and the field responds with surprising synchronicities. The right book lands in your hands, a casual conversation opens a new door, a solution arrives in an unexpected flash. As you learn to direct your attention with purpose, you step into the role of conscious observer, not a passive bystander, but a creative partner in the unfolding of your life. And that leads to a deeper realization. If attention is the steering wheel, what kind of signal are you actually sending? To find out, we need to look beyond thoughts alone, into the blend of mind, heart, and body that forms the true language of manifestation. We've seen how the quantum field listens to your attention, but attention alone isn't the whole story. You don't manifest just because you think about something. You manifest what you're in harmony with. Your thoughts, emotions, and body act together like a broadcast tower, sending out a signal the field can read. Picture your mind as the scriptwriter, your heart as the composer, and your body as the orchestra. If they're out of sync, the melody turns into noise. You might say, "I'm ready for abundance," while your stomach knots with worry and your shoulders tighten with doubt. That tension isn't invisible, it vibrates through your nervous system and radiates into the field. Studies by researchers like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton show how beliefs and emotional states can influence brain chemistry, hormones, and even gene expression. Your biology literally echoes what you believe. Many of us carry hidden programs stored in our bodies, old fears, unhealed grief, emotional addictions. They run quietly in the background, shaping our reactions and expectations. Even if you repeat positive affirmations, those deeper imprints keep sending mixed messages. It's like trying to play a new song while an old track is still looping underneath. This is why true manifestation isn't about forcing yourself to only think happy thoughts. It's about coherence, aligning head, heart, and body so they speak the same language. Practices like meditation, mindful breathing, or even a simple pause to feel gratitude aren't spiritual luxuries. They're tools for tuning your signal. As your inner state becomes steady and clear, the field begins to reflect that clarity back to you. Think about times when you felt completely at ease walking in nature, laughing with a friend, lost in creative flow. Notice how easily good ideas, solutions, or even opportunities seem to appear in those moments. That's not coincidence, it's resonance. Your whole system was broadcasting openness, and reality responded in kind. Becoming aware of your signal doesn't mean blaming yourself for every unwanted event. It's an invitation to curiosity. What am I transmitting right now? Your body is a helpful compass. Tightness, fatigue, or agitation can hint at old patterns still running the show, while lightness, calm, and enthusiasm indicate alignment. By listening, you begin to rewrite those internal codes. As you practice coherence, thinking, feeling, and embodying the version of yourself you wish to live, you stop asking the universe and start conversing with it. And once you learn to steady that conversation, the next insight becomes clear. There isn't just one version of you waiting to emerge. Countless possibilities already exist, waiting for you to tune in. One of the most liberating and challenging ideas in quantum theory is that reality doesn't exist as a single fixed track. It's more like a vast library where every storyline about you is already written, waiting on the shelf. Physicists call it superposition, multiple possibilities coexisting until observation brings one into focus. Spiritual teachers have been saying the same thing for centuries, just in different language. They call it remembrance, awakening, or the unveiling of what's always been. Imagine flipping through radio stations. Each one is broadcasting right now, even if you can't hear it. When you turn the dial, you don't create the song. You simply align with the frequency that lets it play through your speakers. In the same way, you don't manufacture a brand new self out of thin air. You tune into the version of you that already holds the qualities, opportunities, and relationships you're longing for. This isn't meant to deny effort or growth. It reframes them. Instead of trying to force a new identity, you learn to choose it with your state of being. The field doesn't respond to "someday I'll be confident." It mirrors the energy of someone who is already walking in confidence, even if the steps are small at first. Neville Goddard called this assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Mystics of every tradition echo the same insight. Manifestation begins in the now, not in a far-off future. Of course, tuning into a new version of yourself requires awareness of the signal you're currently broadcasting. Old stories, "I'm not good enough," "nothing ever works for me," can keep you locked on a frequency you don't actually want. That's why inner work matters. Healing, reframing, practicing gratitude, letting your body memorize new emotions. These are not just self-help exercises. They're acts of calibration, aligning you with a different track in that infinite library. You might notice this shift in subtle ways: a conversation that suddenly feels effortless, a door opening that once seemed shut, or even a quiet certainty replacing chronic doubt. Those aren't accidents. They're signs you've tuned the dial, and the field is reorganizing to match. Seeing life this way invites curiosity rather than pressure. Instead of wondering if you'll ever get there, you start asking, which version of me am I aligning with right now? The possibilities are already humming beneath the surface, waiting for your attention and emotional agreement. And as you learn to navigate this inner frequency, another paradox appears. The more you try to clutch and control which version arrives, the more static you introduce into the signal. The next step is to explore why letting go rather than tightening your grip often clears the path for the reality you've been trying so hard to reach. This urge to control, to micromanage every outcome, is perhaps the most human of all reflexes. We've been taught that effort equals result, that if we just plan enough, worry enough, and force enough, we can steer life toward our desires. But the quantum field operates on a different logic, one that often feels counterintuitive to our conditioned minds. Forcing is a language of separation, a signal that whispers, "I don't trust. I am not one with the flow." And that very signal pushes away what we seek. Think of a river. You can stand on its bank, trying desperately to push the water in the direction you want with your hands. You'll exhaust yourself, and the river will continue its natural course, barely noticing your effort. Now imagine instead stepping into the river, feeling its current, and gently swimming with it. You're still moving toward your goal, but now you're cooperating with a power far greater than your own muscle. Control is the pushing. Letting go is the swimming. The field responds not to our force, but to our harmony. This is why, so often, the thing we want most seems to arrive only after we've released the white-knuckled grip of our attachment. It's not that the universe is testing you or that you have to prove you want it enough by suffering for it. It's that the energy of frantic control is a vibration of lack and fear. It screams, "I don't have this." And the field, ever the mirror, reflects back more of that not having. Surrender, on the other hand, is the vibration of trust. It whispers, "It is already done. I am in the flow." This doesn't mean giving up on your desire. It means giving up on the anxiety surrounding it. You see this wisdom echoed across traditions. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane ultimately concluded, "Not my will, but yours be done." This wasn't passive resignation. It was the ultimate act of conscious surrender to a higher order. In Taoism, Wu Wei is the practice of effortless action, acting in alignment with the Tao without striving against the current. It's the difference between a leaf fighting the wind and one gracefully riding it. In your own life, you've likely experienced this as synchronicity. That job opportunity that appeared out of nowhere after you finally relaxed about your finances. The person you met just when you stopped desperately searching for a relationship. These aren't lucky breaks. They are the natural outcomes of your signal clearing. When you stop broadcasting the static of "I need to control this," the field can finally deliver the coherent message you'd been sending all along in your clearer moments, your desire, your readiness, your essence. This shift from control to trust is where manifestation becomes graceful. It's the difference between building a house with your bare hands, brick by exhausting brick, and allowing a master builder to work through you, guided by a blueprint you co-created. Your role shifts from frantic doer to aligned beer. You set the intention, you feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then you release the how to the intelligence of the field. This doesn't advocate for passivity. It invites you into a more intelligent kind of action, one that we'll explore next. Because once you stop fighting the current, you become available to be guided. You start to notice the subtle whispers of intuition, the opportunities that feel light and right, the inspired ideas that seem to drop into your mind from nowhere. This is the universe not only responding but collaborating. And that leads us to a beautiful question. If not from a place of control, then how do we move in the world? How do we take action that is in harmony with the field? Action that feels less like pushing and more like being pulled by a benevolent current? The answer lies in the art of inspired action. So, if forcing the outcome creates resistance, what does aligned movement look like? It feels less like pushing a boulder uphill and more like surfing, reading the waves, adjusting your balance, and harnessing energy that is already in motion. This is the essence of inspired action. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what resonates. Action that emerges from a state of inner alignment, from that quiet certainty that you are already the person you are becoming. This is where many seekers hit a crossroads. They mistake surrender for sitting on the couch and waiting for a sign to fall from the sky. But true surrender in the quantum sense is an act of receptivity. It's like a gardener who plants a seed, sets the intention, trusts the laws of nature, surrenders the how, but still waters the soil and pulls the weeds, takes inspired action. The action isn't born of desperation to make the seed grow. It's a natural, caring response to the process. You are cooperating with the intelligence of life. Joe Dispenza often calls this guidance in motion. It's that sudden impulse to call someone, to take a different route home, to look up a specific course, or to share an idea. These impulses are the field communicating with you, guiding you toward the version of reality you've tuned into. The key is to distinguish this from impulsive action driven by anxiety. Inspired action feels light, clear, and almost effortless. Forced action feels heavy, frantic, and comes from a place of should. Think of the difference between networking at an event because you're desperate to find clients, and striking up a genuine conversation because you feel an intuitive nudge to connect with a specific person. The first vibration repels, the second attracts. Both are action, but only one is in coherence with the field. One comes from lack, the other from abundance. Your body is your best barometer here. Does the thought of this action make your chest feel tight and your stomach clench? Or does it bring a sense of expansion, curiosity, or quiet excitement? Learn to trust the somatic wisdom. It is the antenna translating the signal from the quantum field into your lived experience. This is the fusion of the spiritual and the practical. Your faith isn't blind, it's informed. It's a trust that is constantly being validated by the synchronicities and opportunities that arise when you act from this place. You begin to move through life not as a beggar pleading for results, but as a master composer, listening for the next note that wants to be played. The melody unfolds one inspired step at a time. You don't need to see the whole score. You just need to trust the next note. This is how you build a life that feels both divinely guided and personally empowering. And this naturally leads to the ultimate catalyst, the moment where the rubber meets the road, the power of a true decision. Because all the alignment, all the inspired action, culminates in a single point of power, the courageous act to fully be the new version of you without waiting for external permission. And here we arrive at the core of it all, at the moment of supreme power that is entirely yours, the decision. Not the fleeting wish, not the wavering hope, but the unshakable decision. Neville Goddard put it simply and profoundly. Assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the only necessary condition. Notice he did not say desiring intensely or praying fervently. He said assuming. It is a verb of internal action. It is a decision to be now. A true decision is not a pact with the future. It is a declaration in the present. It is the moment you stop whispering, "I want to be confident," and begin to breathe, speak, and act from confidence. The quantum field does not operate in the linear time of someday. It responds to what is real now. And when you decide that something is real in your inner world, the external universe has no choice but to reorganize to match that truth. Neuroscience supports this with the reticular activating system RAS. Your brain is an incredible filtering instrument. The moment you decide to buy a blue car, you suddenly see blue cars everywhere. The world didn't change. Your perceptual filter did. Now, expand that to your identity. When you decide to be an abundant person, your RAS begins to highlight opportunities, ideas, and connections that were always there but that your old filter of scarcity ignored. The decision is the button that turns on this filter. This is not magical positive thinking. It is a neurochemical and energetic reprogramming. A decision made in the core of your being emits a new frequency. It's like changing the password of your personal Wi-Fi network. Suddenly, you attract a different set of data. You find a new network of compatible devices. People can feel this shift in you, a new silent authority, a serenity that does not ask for permission to exist. Therefore, the powerful question is not what do I desire, but who do I decide to be? Everything, every thought, every emotion, every action then flows from that source. The inspired action from the previous topic becomes natural because it is what the version of you that you decided to be would do. The surrender from topic 5 becomes easy because you trust the identity you have assumed. It is a virtuous cycle. You decide to be, then you act from being, and the world reflects your being back to you. Manifestation is not a future event. It is a present moment experience. You are not building a new life brick by brick. You are remembering it, tuning into its frequency, and allowing it to reveal itself in every moment. And it is this revelation, this final understanding that the seeker and the sought, the observer and the observed, are one, that leads us to the climax of this entire journey. And so we arrive at the great revelation, the silent truth that has been whispering beneath every word, every principle, every story. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. The quantum field does not speak the language of words. It does not decode your affirmations or analyze your vision boards. It reads your vibration. It responds to the sum total of your being, the harmony or dissonance between your thoughts, your emotions, and the very energy your body radiates. This is the ultimate mirror. You are not asking the universe for anything. You are showing it, moment by moment, who you believe yourself to be. This is where all the threads we've woven the field, the observer, the signal, superposition, surrender, inspired action, and decision converge into one stunning tapestry of understanding. Jesus hinted at this when he spoke of unity. I and the Father are one. He wasn't describing a special privilege reserved for a son of God. He was revealing the fundamental nature of reality for all of us. There is no separation between the Creator and the creation. You are not a drop begging the ocean for water. You are the ocean expressing itself as a drop. Your manifestation is nothing more and nothing less than the ocean recognizing itself in you. Buddha revealed the same truth from another angle. With our thoughts, we make the world. But now we can understand thoughts as the entire spectrum of our inner life, the beliefs held in the mind, the emotions felt in the heart, the histories stored in the body. Together, they form the blueprint that the building crew of the universe works from. Neville Goddard's instruction to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled was the ultimate practical summary of this law. The feeling is the vibration. To assume it is to become it. And to become it is to instruct the field, with perfect clarity, to match your reality to your state of being. This is why techniques often fail. They focus on manipulating external outcomes while ignoring the internal source. You can chant for abundance until you're blue in the face, but if you feel poor, unworthy, or separate from supply, that is the signal that will be manifested. The how is always handled by the field. The who must be chosen by you. The stunning, beautiful, and perhaps daunting insight is this: manifestation is not a technique. It is a state of being. It is the natural, effortless result of inner coherence. It is the universe expressing itself as you, through you, and for you. Prosperity, love, peace, these are not things to acquire. They are frequencies to embody. When you embody them, they become the landscape of your life. You are the painter and the canvas. You are the singer and the song. You are the quantum field becoming aware of itself. This is not a philosophy to believe in. It is a reality to experience. And it begins not tomorrow, but in this very breath. The only question that remains is, who will you choose to be now? So, here we are. We've journeyed from understanding the quantum field as a living matrix of all possibilities to realizing the power of our attention as the observer that shapes reality. We've seen that our true signal is a blend of mind, heart, and body, and that countless versions of us already exist in a state of superposition, waiting to be tuned into. We learn to release the grip of control, embrace inspired action, and ultimately harness the transformative power of a true decision. Yet, for all its profound depth, the greatest obstacle to living this truth is often its breathtaking simplicity. We search for complex formulas, secret rituals, and hidden codes, when the key has always been right here, inner coherence. The field doesn't ask for perfected techniques. It responds to a congruent being. It's not about doing more, but about being more of who you truly are. As the ancient wisdom reminds us and modern science now confirms, you are not separate from the source. You are the field. You are the observer and the observed. The separation was an illusion, a trick of the senses. The moment you truly feel this not as a concept, but as a living truth, your entire relationship with life shifts from one of begging to one of breathing, from seeking to remembering. And so, as we come to a close, I want to leave you with a single powerful question, a question that is also an invitation to practice, to play, and to participate in the greatest co-creation there is. Which version of you are you choosing to be, right now, in this very moment? That choice is your point of power. That choice is your manifesting engine. If this journey resonated with you, if it sparked a new understanding or even a quiet knowing, I invite you to share it. Let's build a community of conscious creators. Leave a comment below with one word that describes the version of yourself you are choosing to align with today. Is it abundance, peace, confidence, love? Let that word be your anchor, your declaration to the field. And if you're ready to continue this journey of transformation, to deepen your practice and truly embody these principles, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. This is just the beginning. There is so much more to explore, and I can't wait to continue exploring it with you.